One of the most confusing things we've ever see in the coming out of the vegan world are these fake processed meats that are designed to look not only like real meat and taste like real meat, but go above and beyond. They're almost like they're trying to keep in people's minds the experience of eating the real thing, which is always a controversial thing in the vegan community. From the outside of it, from the animal-based proper human diet side of things, it gives us a good chuckle because these are some very confused people, to put it mildly. They are the kinds of people who think that we should get away from eating meat, change the culture so that eating meat is no longer acceptable, while then making the most realistic looking and tasting meat alternatives imaginable. So I've got a couple of stories today for you that are so closely linked to each other that it beggars belief. It really does. The question I want you to think about here is, what is the point? Besides money, because despite some of these plant-based meat alternative companies, the Beyond Meats and things, some of them make money, but most notoriously, like the biggest name of them, Beyond Meat, doesn't make money. They've been having a lot of trouble now for a couple of years. It's because there is really only a limited market for people who will voluntarily want to eat this stuff. Or for some people who think that this stuff is healthy. They've bought into the propaganda for whatever reason, and they buy this stuff and force themselves to eat it. And those are the people that you and I need to reach out to let them know that if they want to eat a more healthy lifestyle, they need to avoid the plant-based fake meat alternatives and just eat a proper human diet of some kind. And we can quibble about what that is in this space, but at the end of the day, it ain't these products we're going to talk about today. In fact, and these products that we're going to talk about are so strange because they defy nature. They are, in fact, human beings tinkering at the most basic, fundamental levels of biology to create something new. Because, of course, nature, the natural food, isn't apparently good enough for the plant-based meat zealots. So our first story comes from Earth.com with this headline: Scientists modified plant proteins create delicious meat alternatives. Delicious is entirely subjective. You know, I remember several years ago trying one of the fake meat alternative burgers at one of the burger places before I was doing, low zero carb kind of thing. And I was curious about what it tasted like. And I had been assured that the thing tasted like real meat. Well, I was familiar with the normal version of the burger that I bought, and I bought the fake meat substitute one to try it, and I can assure you that it did not, in fact, taste anything like meat. It tasted weird. It tasted fake, and it wasn't good in the slightest. It wasn't good at all. So no matter how many times they tell you this stuff is really good and does the job, it's not true. But here, these are actual scientists trying to fix the meat and texture problem by altering the plant proteins on the molecular level. If that sounds familiar to you, it should. It's just processed food again, except they're going really deeper into processed foods, not just including questionable chemicals that may have odd effects on your biology, odd effects on your metabolism and whatnot. They're going into actually changing the fundamental nature of the product in question. From the article, quote, however, a team of scientists led by the University of Leeds has recently revolutionized the sensation of plant proteins, turning them from a thick and dry substance to one with a juicy and fat-like texture. Surprisingly, their only addition to the plant proteins is water. The key to this transformation lies in the formation of plant protein microgels via a procedure named microgelation. Initially dry and coarse, plant proteins are submerged in water and then heated. This heat exposure modifies the protein molecule structure, making them cluster to establish a gel-like interconnected network that entraps water around them. Upon homogenization, this gel disintegrates into a microgel consisting of minuscule particles invisible to the naked eye. When subjected to pressure, as during eating, these microgels release water, leading to a texture similar to that of single cream. What we have done is converted the dry plant protein into a hydrated one, using the plant protein to form a spider-like web that holds the water around the plant protein, explained the senior author Anwesha Sarkar, a professor of colloids and surfaces at Leeds. This gives the much-needed hydration and juicy feel in the mouth. Plant-based protein microgels can be created without having to use any added chemicals or agents, using a technique that is widely available and currently used in the food industry. The key ingredient is water." End quote. They might need to think about how they talk about this a little bit, because terms like spider-like web and some of the other terms you heard there aren't appetizing. They don't make anybody want to eat that stuff. You're describing food. You don't want to use really kind of disgusting sounding lingo, not if you're trying to sell it to people. And what they're doing there, you might think, okay, that's just water. What's the big deal? This is them cooking and recooking the product until, well, any nutrients that might be there at all are probably gone or down to almost nothing. Remember, plant nutrients aren't the most bioavailable to human beings. They just aren't. This is one of the reasons why you see so much rampant illness among vegans. It's because they're malnourished. It's how it works. So this might fix the texture issue at least a little, but it won't fix the flavor issue, nor will it fix the basic problem that this is just more processed junk and not part of a proper human diet. If you want to fix your diet, the first place you go is remove the processed food. That's the first place you should go. This stuff is at best prison food, and even then I wouldn't subject wards of the state to such inhumane treatment. But that's not all. Now you can have edible fake bones on your vegan ribs. Headline from the vegan propaganda outlet Veg News. This rack of vegan ribs can be eaten whole, bones and all. Juicy Marbles takes the experience of eating vegan meat to a new level with its bone-in ribs. A plant-based rack of ribs complete with protein-packed bones that can be eaten as a crispy snack. Folks, this is the most confusing one yet. On the one hand, they continue with the eating fake meat that looks like the real thing that they like to do, or in this case, stuff that's supposed to look like the real thing. But then they get rid of the realistic side of it by making the pork rib bones into a crunchy snack. Nobody eats the bones from a rack of ribs. They just don't. Maybe you turn them into bone broth or something, but nobody actually sits there and crunches on those bones. But what is this stuff made out of? They won't say. That's the weirdest part. I get why they won't say it, because it's a proprietary technology and they don't want to have their competitors, latch on and steal their product from them. But the meat is made from layering soy protein in such a way as it mimics the natural fibrous tendency of meat. Now, this product, the development of it, caused a debate among vegans online, because of course it did. Some vegans realize that their entire message of getting away from eating meat should mean to not have this stuff available really at all, right? That you're trying to change the culture, you're trying to change people, and you don't do that by giving people crutches and giving people this way of, having their foot still in the meat-eating world. While others say, well, this stuff is naturally an important way to transition away from eating animal products to eating vegan products. Personally, the whole thing is suspect to me. I wouldn't touch this stuff with a 10-foot pole. But, I believe in the proper human diet, not this highly processed, diabolical sewage garbage that they're trying to force onto everybody. I'm curious, though, what do you think of this stuff? You interested in trying a rack of fake pork ribs complete with crunchy fake bones that you can chew on like some sort of dinosaur? Or you want to try this gelatinized meat protein slop that they're pushing? Curious what you think of this. So let me know in the comments. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't. It does help, so to share this on social media, that helps too. I'm Anthony Stein, Practical Carnivore. Thanks for tuning in.